What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to The Grave. I'm your host, Casey. Do you guys want to talk about some bad movies? Do you guys want to talk about some terrible, terrible fucking movies? Well, then you're in the wrong place because this week we got two bangers. We got 2002's Dog Soldiers and 2024's Late Night with the Devil. Before I get into those, though, I'm going to do a quick little thing where I talk about some news that I found on the internet that I found cool that's horror related. It's going to be pretty quick. Won't take up too much of your time. If you like this segment, let me know. If you don't, let me know. We can drop it. We can keep it. We can do whatever you guys want. I'm here for you. And I'm here for me because I like talking about horror movies. So this is a completely selfish endeavor. Uh, Final Destination Bloodlines, currently still in its theatrical run, probably getting close to wrapping it up though, has dethroned 2009's The Final Destination as being the highest grossing Final Destination movie in the franchise, which we're on a fifth sequel here, and we're talking about raking in. Let's see what our number is. Our number is $186 million that Final Destination Bloodlines, actually over that now, Bloodlines is brought in at the movie theaters. And like I said, fifth sequel, 186 mil, probably wind up, 190, 195 by the time it's all said and done. That's crazy money for a fifth sequel horror movie. So shout out to everybody that went out and saw it. I have not gotten to go see it yet. But I'm going to get there. No problem. And then second thing I found is Second Sight is releasing a 4K Ultra HD of When Evil Lurks. At some point, I'm going to wind up talking about that movie because it's really, really fucked up, but it's really, really good. And to be able to see it in a 4K Ultra HD with some special features, and if you see the box set, like look on Second Sight's website, the box set for it, it's all red, and on the front of it, it's got a picture of a little girl holding the leash to a very large dog. And if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what that's alluding to. And I'm sorry because you're probably still having nightmares about it, but that's neither here nor there. It's fine. We want the box set. I'm going to pre-order it. It's like $45 on Second Sight, and for as good of a box set as this looks like it's going to be, I'm done with it. You can have my $45, no problem. So, those are our little news articles. Final Destinations killing it at the theater. When Evil Lurks is dropping a pretty sick looking 4K Ultra HD, and that's in July, by the way. It's like July the 28th that's coming out. But that's our news. Let's get into some movies. First off, we're going to talk about 2002's Dog Soldiers. I had somebody request that. Actually, I had two requests. One, stop doing spoilers. So I'm not going to do spoilers anymore unless it's like a trailer level spoiler, is what I'll call it, where it's something that you can see in the trailer. Like, I don't know, Robert Pattinson is playing Batman. That's a trailer level spoiler. Like, yes, I'm telling you something, but it's not actually spoiling anything because it's something you could already see. So, trailer level spoilers from this point forward. I make that commitment to all of you guys. I'm not going to spoil these movies that you haven't seen before. I apologize. I'm not going to apologize. I'm trying to figure this podcast out, man. I don't know what I'm doing. I just want to talk about horror movies with people. So, I feel bad, but I don't feel bad, and I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. You know what I'm saying? If you want no spoilers, I will give you no spoilers, though. So, here we go. Dog Soldiers. The second thing was people wanted me to read synopsis. So, I'm going to read a synopsis. A band of soldiers is dispatched to war games deep in the woods. When they stumble across a rival team slaughtered in camp, they realize they're not alone. Something deadly is waiting in the darkness, something not animal and not human. Holed up in an abandoned farmhouse, the soldiers start a bloody battle against the beast. Dawn is only a few hours away, but they may not live to see it. And I've got a DVD copy of this that's a former rental, apparently, from Blockbuster. I don't remember when I got this, but I'm just going to mention real quick that all over this DVD case, it's got the people that star in it. You got Sean Pertwee, Kevin McKidd, and Liam Cunningham. But I don't know if they just weren't particularly confident that this movie was going to succeed or what they thought they needed to do. But it's got so many buzzwords and blurbs on it about this movie is this and this movie is that. For example, Jaws, Aliens, and Predator with a werewolf twist is one of the blurbs on the front of it. Like, you're throwing out three huge franchises and being like, hey, our movie, it's not a whole lot like that, but please buy our movie. Like, we're gonna put these names on there, and please think that has something to do with that. And then down at the bottom, from the producer of Hellraiser. So you got Hellraiser thrown in there, Jaws, Aliens, and Predator. Uh, yeah, I will go ahead and tell you this as well. If you are looking for a way to watch this, I do not recommend the DVD because the DVD looks like ass. I do not recommend Amazon Prime Video because Amazon Prime Video looks like hot garbage. I don't know what the deal was with this, if it was just hard to get a good print at the time that all this stuff came out. But I popped in and I started watching. And I was like, man, this is a really, really bad transfer. And so I actually watched it one time on DVD, and then I was like getting ready for the podcast and everything. And so I watched it again on Amazon, and usually Amazon Prime has pretty decent, you know, quality of their videos, but man, it was not for this. It was a rough watch. So if you're able to pick it up, I guess the way to watch it is probably going to be the 4K Ultra HD, because I saw some reviews online and everything, and apparently the print that they use for that is a lot better. So DVD, no. Amazon Prime only as a last resort, because I'm pretty sure it was free on there. I didn't have to pay for it outside of paying for the subscription to Amazon Prime. So if you want to watch it for free and you've got Amazon Prime, I guess you can watch it on there. But I think this movie's worth seeing in the best quality that you can get it in. So at some point, I'll probably wind up picking up the 4K, because I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I really, really like this movie. Everything from the creature effects to the gore to the acting to most of the cinematography, or not even the cinematography, specifically the camera work was kind of sketchy at a few places. But outside of that, I can't really find a whole lot of faults with the movie. You've got full body shots of werewolves and really good transformations. And in fact, on the back of the DVD case, they put a picture of a full body werewolf. And for I'm presuming it was a fairly low budget, you know, werewolf movie at the time, a lot of times they will put you in, or they'll put things like this in close in frames, that way you can't see all of the different details of what's going on, to hide if the creature effect or whatever isn't really up to par. Nah, man, they went balls out on this. They said, hey, we have werewolves, they look good, and we know they look good, so you guys can look at them all you want to. You've got like werewolves running through hallways, it looks legit. I'm assuming that it's going to be some kind of a suit, because it doesn't all look like animatronics or anything. I'm guessing it's going to be something along the lines of like the Alien suit that I don't know if you've ever seen the behind the scenes stuff on the Alien, but like there's like a tall lanky guy in the Alien suit doing all the alien shit. I'm assuming it's something along those lines, because these things look massive. Maybe actors on stilts or something like that. I don't know, man, but they did a really good job, because I was watching it and I was almost convinced a few times that they had just gotten werewolves. I was like, you know what? These effects look pretty freaking good. I bet these aren't effects. I bet they went out and they got some fucking werewolves for this movie. I don't think they did. I think we probably would have heard about that by now. It seems like real werewolves would have been something that would have broke the news. Anyways, though, back to the movie. So you've got a really cool war games scenario where all these guys wind up out in the woods, which takes care of explaining away why they don't have, a full armament at their disposal, because they're out there and they're not actually supposed to be fighting or killing anyone. They're out there with like the bare necessities, and all of their guns at the beginning are like capped off, that they do when you're doing war games. So that way nobody actually accidentally gets shot or brings in a hot gun or something like that. And the war games at the beginning looked really fun, like everybody just trying to figure out ways to get into places and fighting each other. It was really cool. The acting, so I believe it's Sean Pertwee. He's the guy that plays Alfred in Gotham, which I don't watch, but I am aware of his character in there. He does a fantastic job, man. Like he's a really, really grizzled, hardened character that you can feel the camaraderie between him and his men. He's the leader of the group of men in the movie, and the camaraderie that you can feel between them, and the almost like father figure type dynamic he's got going on. It was really, really good, and it had a whole lot of things going on in the movie that were really character driven, as opposed to being just a regular werewolf movie. Like, this is really an in depth, close up, character driven movie with just these guys in this group trying to essentially survive the night. And I thought it was just awesome, man. I had a lot of fun watching it. Like I said, blood and gore effects. You're gonna get a lot of really cool stuff on that. You're gonna get some really cool kills, And surprisingly, it's, well, not surprisingly, because it's it's a werewolf movie with soldiers, but there's a lot of really good action scenes that are really badass. And I'm not a huge tactics based like military guy. I don't know like everything about that stuff, but I know a little bit. And so like it's very clear that the actors in this movie really trained as if they were in the military at some point, or maybe especially Sean Pertwee. Like maybe in previous roles he trained a lot, but a lot of like the gun stuff that he was doing, where like he's looking down his sight and he cants his gun to the side real quick to focus at something closer up to him. That's the kind of like really small details that get put into a movie that I take note of. And there's a lot of stuff like that where you could really believe that these guys were really a military squad that just got fucked up by a bunch of werewolves. So yeah, I would say definitely, definitely, definitely check out Dog Soldiers in something better than DVD or Amazon Prime, preferably. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. The only real faults that I found with the movie were, like I said, some of the camera stuff. It does like some weird shaky cam that's not really my bag. And oh, one thing I forgot to mention. So the people or the actors in this are all, I think it's Scottish, maybe. I don't know. Don't kill me if they're not Scottish, man. I'm not trying to piss anybody off. I'm not great at this stuff. But they are not, they're not American. And dumb, I'm a dumb Southern American. And I could not for the life of me understand a lot of what they were saying. And the DVD copy I had didn't have English subtitles. So I'm sitting there like, I turned the volume way up and I'm watching lips trying to figure out some of the shit that they were saying. And I was having a really difficult time. Fortunately, Amazon Prime had English subtitles. And so the second time I watched it, I picked up a lot of the stuff that I didn't catch the first go around. So, yep, Dog Soldiers definitely worth watching. Please check it out. All right, that's done. Next, Late Night with the Devil, 2024, starring David Dismalchin. Which honestly, at this point, he's just my boy. Like I really, really like him in the stuff that he shows up in. He was in Last Voyage of the Demeter last year, or a couple years ago, whatever it was. And he's got a really funny YouTube channel where he brings in celebrities from like horror related stuff and talks to them in caskets. They both lay in separate caskets, and he asks them like life questions and deep philosophical shit. But he also just asks them about movies they've been in, and that actually helps him out in this movie a lot because he plays a. Well, actually, I'm just going to read you the synopsis. Johnny Carson rival Jack Delroy, David Dismalchin, hosts a syndicated talk show, Night Owls, that has long been a trusted companion to insomniacs around the country. However, ratings for the show have plummeted since the tragic death of Jack's beloved wife. Desperate to turn his fortunes around, on October 31st, 1977, Jack plans a Halloween special like no other, unaware he is about to unleash evil into the living rooms of America. Yeah, I'm not even going to pull any punches with this one. I freaking love this movie too. I had two this week that were really, really good movies. I kind of feel like I got myself screwed up a little bit last week with some really middle of the road stuff, and also Survival of the Dead, which we talked about, which is not middle of the road; it's bottom of the barrel. But both of these movies, and especially Late Night with the Devil, is a phenomenal movie. You have got, like I said, David Dismalchin. Also, this is produced by Shudder, which Shudder sometimes are hit or miss, but a lot of times whenever they do hit, it's a really, really good hit. And I would say that this falls under that. David Dismalchin absolutely owns the screen every single time he's on it. And I believed him for every minute of the movie that he was a struggling talk show host. The movie has got a lot of really, really cool special effects as far as blood, guts, gore, that kind of thing. It's got a couple that will snap you out of the movie, though. So I'm going to go ahead and warn you about those. You have got an electricity special effect that's a pet peeve of mine that they do in a lot of movies. It's that thing where they will show, for example, like show a cable that's running into a wall, and then they show like bright neon electricity traveling along the cable. And it's a really, really shitty looking special effect. They did it in Home Alone, where uh, Howard or Daniel Stern's character gets electrocuted and you see the electricity traveling over him, and it's a super cheesy, fake looking special effect. And I really, really wish they wouldn't have done it. I understand the function of it because there were times where they wanted to show electricity traveling from point A to point B, and electricity in a cable is not something that you can see. So I know why they do it, but I really wish they just wouldn't have. The little girl in this is creepy as shit. She does a couple of takes or a couple of scenes where she looks straight down the barrel of the camera, and at one of them I got like the hair standing up on the back of my neck. It creeped me out so much. She's not she's not Linda Blair from The Exorcist level possessed little girl, but she's not a far cry from it either. Like we're not talking two separate baseball fields. We're talking about two different bases. She's close. Uh, David Desmalchin, great. You know what? Honestly, I didn't write down the actor's name on this, but his character is named Carmichael Haig, and he's a self-proclaimed charlatan that's on the show in the movie to try to debunk the things that are happening with possession. And one of the other guests that comes on that's like a not a fortune teller, but like a person that can talk to the dead, other people's dead relatives. But Carmichael Haig, I'll have to look up this guy's name at some point. But he was so funny and so believable as just an arrogant, just prick the whole movie. But he also has you also can see from his perspective where he sees people as being taken advantage of. And yes, even though he's arrogant and he's doing it for somewhat selfish reasons, he's also doing it because he doesn't want the common man to be fooled by what he believes are like cheap parlor tricks. And the movie takes a lot of turns that turn the tables on that whole thing a lot. Um, the ending, very good. This movie could have lived or died by how they decided to end it, and thank God they decided to end it the way they did. Without spoiling anything, I will tell you that at the end of this movie, I was so shell shocked, is what I'll call it. Like it actually affected me. I really felt for what was happening at the end. I was heartbroken. I was happy that the movie was so good. I was creeped out and horrified. It was a perfect culmination to the movie. Um, and as far as the aesthetic of the movie, obviously in the synopsis I told you it's set in 1977. They did a really good job of making what was happening on screen and the TV show itself look like it was something that was actually shot in the 70s. As far as how the graphics were, where it's like those cheesy, cheap, almost like news anchor type graphics, where it's like a car, like a just a poster that stands up with no movement or anything to it. It honestly looked like it was actually something that could have been done in the 70s. The wardrobe was on point. Um, there's honestly just not a whole lot of faults with this movie. That one shitty special effect is one that I'll go with. Uh, some of the other special effects, not all of them are the top tier, but there aren't any that took me out of the movie like the electricity one did. And there are several of them that were like, man, that looks really, really, really good. Special effects, makeup really good, creature effects really good, kills really good. It's really, really good. So I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10. I cannot recommend strongly enough that you watch it. And actually, I've watched this one 3 times. I watched it the first time um, on Shutter with my wife. I watched it the second time on DVD because the DVD has some really cool special features where it's got a commentary from David Desmalchin and then a second commentary from the directors and the producer. I believe it is. That one I actually haven't listened to, but it is on the disc. In fact, hang on, let me tell you guys correctly. Q&A with directors Colin and Cameron Cairns is how we pronounce that. So definitely worth picking up. I think at Walmart you can get it for like 10-12 bucks. I'd say pick it up because it's such a fantastic movie, and I got a lot out of the commentaries. And David Desmalchin translates really well into commentary. He's just fun to listen to, and he has a lot of really interesting anecdotes. And he seems like a really down to earth guy that doesn't think very highly of himself at all. So, Late Night with the Devil gets a strong 9 out of 10. possibly could even eke up a little bit higher on multiple rewatchings. But at this point, I'm 3 watches in, and for me to not have found any more faults with it than I did to be able to give it a 9 out of 10, it's definitely something that you should check out. So, guys, this week has been a much more happy viewing experience for me than last week. I'm still trying to figure out some of the kinks as far as how many movies to review in a show. I'm trying 2 on this one. I may try 3 on the next one because I think 4 may have been rushing it a little bit too much, and I've gotten some feedback that said 4 seemed like a bit much. I'm kind of getting the vibe that maybe 2 isn't quite enough. So I think 3 may be where I settle in at next week. So I'm going to go get to watching some horror movies and find us some stuff to watch. So thank you guys very much for coming back to the graveyard. I appreciate everyone that's reached out to me on social media and everyone that's listened. You can find me on YouTube at To the Grave Horror Podcast. I'm on a platform, a horror related social media platform called Slasher. Same thing there, To the Grave Horror Podcast. Feel free to add me, message me anytime you want to. And I would really, really love to hear from you. It means a lot to me. Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate you. Have a good one.